It was very specific. Actually, it was Wednesday of Holy Week in 2009, and I came to the service in the morning. I found out about it the day before and thought I'll go there. Pews were still in the chapel, and I just took a seat, and a guy sat next to me, and you know how you can tell when somebody's looking at you, who's right there? So I turned and faced him, and he said, "Hi, I'm David." And I said, "Chet." And I don't know what words we spoke at the time, but we had a little conversation, and I was the person who looked like he was outside all day. Layers of clothes, hoodies, jackets, backpack, and I've seen Father David do this on many occasions. Just find that one person who's visiting or there or trying to keep warm. My studio is not heated. But the next day was the healing service, and we did it in the chancellor up there, and this same guy sits next to me. And I don't know him from anybody, and he doesn't look that official. But so I said, "Hi, David," and he said, "Chip," and we talked some more, and Easter came that week, and it was one of those packed Sundays, seriously packed. And I had met a few people already, so I was sitting with friends, but I had never seen a full service here. And I'm watching out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching the crucifer come up and the choir and everything and people. And then there's this guy, fully vested in the back of the line, and I'm just thinking, I could feel it now. I was so jazzed that he was, that guy who I was talking to so casually was Father David, was the head rector. After that first service on Wednesday, I saw a lot of people coming into the church, and when I asked about that, they told me about Anchorage and that they feed breakfast to people 5 days a week. And I also found out they serve meals every day in churches, and I knew then that I wasn't going to have to worry where my next meal came from, because in the decade past I did. Sometimes as working as an artist, I did, but this was sort of a very settling thing. And between that and coming through Easter, I really got a good handle on feeling comfort within the walls here. I'll tell you, for real, I more than a few times put my last dollar in that collection plate, especially probably the first time when the parable came up about the woman and her last money. And I thought, what am I going to do with it? Even papers don't cost this much. So, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen times I would put all I had in there, and not worse for the needing it, because I knew where I was going to eat that day. So, to be honest, it sort of worked in my career as an artist to be really accepting of my place here as a congregant. It was then that I was starting to feel like this could be a home. Well, I'm directly involved in the Eucharistic ministry here. But I also tutor at Carter and McRae, 5th grade mathematics. I was a Eucharistic minister for a while, but there is a story that when I was in Anchorage and did Eucharistic ministry, just starting, Kit Slough walked up to me and asked me if I would sit with Ethel May McSparron, because she was feeling dizzy, and I'm sitting there with a plate of food amongst strangers I don't know, and the last thing I want to do is walk away from my food. And she's asking me to sit with her, and before I got up, I did say, like, "Why did you pick me for this?" And she goes, "Well, you're a minister, aren't you?" And walked off, and I just thought, like, yeah, I am. I got very, like, a feeling of pride. I don't use that word a lot, but I didn't think twice about getting up and leaving things behind and sitting with her. So that's Kit. She was the first one to sort of like hit me with it right between the eyes. And I felt really empowered by her with that one. being here has sort of woven itself already in my being, that now that I work as an artist, I feel like I have a whole inner sense of peace that I would never had in the other years. What I think about in the next years is going to be personal, because when I get asked which piece of artwork that I've executed, which one's the best, I say, well, the next one I do is always the best one, because I don't like to say, well, the one I did last year, and I don't use that term a lot, but it's more like the best is, I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but it's really going to be great. So when I want to pass that on, I would say, since I've been in St. James for a while, I haven't found any 2 years to be the same. I mean, the activities line up. There's still Ollie's Closet, there's still retreats, there's still form, but it seems like the church is growing intellectually as well as spiritually on a level that I can see more directly in following everyday life. And I used to say that I went to church, sort of like to recharge, but that was before I started coming here, and now I just feel it's just a feeling of confidence and well-being, and I am in the right place, and I'm going to still keep coming. That this church doesn't cease to surprise me sometimes with I see what's all going on. It was fairly easy when Kent and I worked here. There was maybe 2 events a month or something like that, and now you look in the bulletin, there's got to be like a dozen there every month, and they're reaching out to younger people. They're reaching out to tiny folks too, which I got involved with that, with the children's garden and all. But as a fully functioning adult now, I kind of looking forward to like what my next years are going to be, and there will be a financial component to it also. But I still enjoy putting money into the collection plate. It's just an activity I guess I enjoyed as a child, and that quarter I saved all week ended up going into, I saved it for this purpose.